Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Hey, everybody. Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. If we will, Jason Daniel, would you say our prayer and our pledge for us, please?
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you so much for this day that you've given us and the opportunity to gather here together to take care of our school system's business tonight. And Lord, I pray that you would be with each person here and each decision made, that we honor you through that. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Salute flag.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ms. Vernon, if you would mind saying calling the roll for us, please.
Candace Shanzo.
Here.
Kathy Brown.
Here.
Sherry Fulber. Present. Steve Ward.
Here.
Jason Daniel.
Here.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here. We've got several visitors tonight and we're glad to see everybody here. We'll get, I guess, start over. Let's go ahead and get started. Guys, have y'all had a chance to look at your agenda? Our first item of business would be to adopt our agenda. Does anybody have a motion they would like for me to entertain?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion of our agenda before we adopt it? All right, all in favor of adopting tonight's agenda, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, agenda adopted. Let's see, let's start with Lisa Brights here tonight, our city council liaison. She'll come give us a report.
Thank you. Thank you. Got a kind of a lengthy one today. A lot of things going on in the city of Trussville. First, I want to mention that the mayor will be doing his state of the city address at the next Chamber of Commerce meeting, which is Thursday at 11:30 at the Civic Center. The best thing, of course, the mayor's going to be good, but the best thing is it's a free lunch. So you come and we just need a reservation probably by tomorrow. I would think we would need that. So you can call the chamber office and get that reservation made. Don't tell the mayor I said that. We also have Turn Trussville Pink. So we had a couple of resolutions that we passed. So that's a citywide event that we just honor breast cancer awareness. That is going to be on October the 18th. We have the Witches Ride, which is going to be this Saturday. I believe it starts at 5 o'clock. And the honoree, the person that they will be doing this fundraiser for is for Jamie Jones, and she has Prader-Wills syndrome. So every year this group honors and raises money for a particular person each year. I know one year we had Dr. Lospite's grandson that was very sweet to have that. So these girls work hard. So if you see everything kind of stopped and a bunch of witches riding down the street, they get on their brooms at 5 o'clock is what their Facebook page says. The new restaurant on the corner down here, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It means with eggs. And it is going to open on the 17th. They have a ribbon cutting, I believe, at 1:30. We also have an exciting thing. Lance Walker said I could make this announcement. So with working with the Lance and his group and with the city, we have been able to secure the regional bowling state championships here at Spare Time, which will be in January. That's going to be a great event for the city and a great event for the city school system, that we can actually have a state, I believe our first regional state championship to be held in the city. So it'll be boys and girls bowling teams. So exciting things on that. And then lastly, we have a Huskies Together group, which Jim Kirkland and I shared being on this same group through Leadership Trussville. Last year, we had to pick an event that we wanted to do, a project, and we came up with an enrichment and awareness support group that focuses on social issues, including drug and alcohol addiction, having resources and speakers come in throughout the year to help not only the students, but the parents navigate through some of the things that they're going through. So excited that the city council voted in to secure the funding that we will be receiving from the opioid lawsuit monies that will help get this group started. So we're patterning it after Vestavia's Help the Hills, which Dr. Martin has connected me with people in that group. So we know it's going to be really good. And we're just really excited about it. So we have an event that is scheduled for November the 6th, which is a Monday night at 6:30 at the Civic Center. We'll be sending out some flyers in the loop. Just want to be able to have like a meet and greet. We'll have our website ready. We are becoming a nonprofit. So we're really excited about this grassroots effort. So unless anyone has any questions, that will finish my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bright. Okay, so we've got next on our agenda are some recognitions. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Martin, for that.
Well, good evening, everyone. Tyler, if you would join me up here, please. I'd like to introduce everyone to Tyler Morange. Tyler was our representative for Boise State this year. And we got really good, really good response for Boise State. I'm going to read here what they sent us. This past June, Tyler represented Trussville High School at the 86th American Legion Boise State at Troy University. While at Boise State, Tyler stepped up and was involved in the Judicial Interest Group. I spoke with few key leaders at Boise State, and they mentioned that Tyler represented Trussville High School very notably. Many key leaders in our country have attended Boise State: presidents, professional athletes, astronauts, congressional leaders, etc. This is a great program for our youth, and Tyler did an outstanding job. So Tyler, on behalf of Trussville City Schools, thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Carol for this talk today there. And I just thought the experience that people, we have a couple of legislators, we have a business card. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Tyler. Thank you for representing today. Yeah, sure.
Tyler, thank you so much and congratulations. Our next recognition, October, is Principal Appreciation Month. And so we wanted to make sure that we recognized our 5 outstanding principals that we have here in Trussville City Schools. Mr. Jackson, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello, I'm Chad Summers, the voice of the Huskies. Thank you for giving us a minute of your time today. October is Principal Appreciation Month, and we have some good ones here within our school system. Men and women who serve faithfully, care for your students, and love what they do. It's a tough job, but they make it look easy, equipping the teachers and faculty around them to do the work of leading our schools. I should know, my wife teaches at Cahaba, and I know firsthand a good principal is invaluable. So Ms. Tyner, Dr. Lospike, Dr. Faust, Mr. Meads, and Mr. King, thank you. You are appreciated, and we could not do this without you.
We give our principals, our 5 principals, a hand, please. So I'm going to ask each one to come up here, which I know they're probably not going to want to do. I see some eye rolls there. Dr. Faust. I had a chance to ask a teacher and a staff member from their school if they would just give me a comment about our leaders at each one of the buildings. And so, Ms. Tyner, if you would come up here, please, to start. As Ms. Tyner is coming up, one of her staff members said, "There is no one more passionate about their school than Joy Tyner. Every decision she makes is about putting students first. She strives to create a joyful school home where students are loved and celebrated. She motivates her staff and students to be their best selves. She encourages innovative teaching, supports creativity and collaboration, and celebrates her students and staff's victories. She is loved by students, staff, and the community of Cahaba Elementary School." Can we give Joy Tyner a hand, please? Dr. Faust, would you come up, please? All right.
You got called, didn't you?
All right, we have a staff member who said this about Dr. Faust. Dr. Faust encompasses every aspect of what it means to be a school principal. She is the first to roll up her sleeves and jump in and where she is needed. She has a true love for every single student and faculty staff member at Magnolia Elementary School. She does her job with the utmost poise and grace, not to mention always with a smile. She is adored and loved by all of her students, and she makes each person feel special. There is not a face that Dr. Faust does not know, and this includes students, staff, and parents. We could not do our jobs the way we do without her leadership and mentorship. We love you, Dr. Faust. Dr. Lospike, would you join me up here, please? Dr. Lospike is trustworthy, sincere, and devoted. She is an exceptional leader who is humble and makes herself accessible to all. She does an incredible job of listening to any concerns of the staff and keeps us excited about improving our school. Dr. Lospike is such an impactful leader and motivates us to strive for success each day. She creates a safe and welcoming environment for our students at Payne. Her communication, compassion, and commitment to the well-being of our community is invaluable and truly makes a difference. Thank you, Dr. Lospike. Thank you so much. Mr. Meads, I could not get a staff member to write anything. I'm kidding. We had them lined up to say something special about you. Come up here, please. No. Excellent leaders raise the bar. They inspire others to achieve more, and I can't think of a more inspirational leader than Jared Meads. Over the last 9 years, I've had the honor to know him as a coach, as my daughter's science teacher, as my son's assistant principal, and now my principal here at Hewitt Trussville Middle School. And through all of these roles, I have witnessed his unwavering commitment to family, students, teachers, and the community of Trussville. Jared's leadership is guided by his concern for others and his ability to always strive to do the right thing. I feel genuinely grateful and blessed to have Jared Meads as the principal of Hewitt Trussville Middle School. Thank you, Jared. Mr. King, if you please come forward. Mr. King's vision for Hewitt Trussville High School is to be a triple threat in excellence where our students excel in academics, athletics, and the fine arts. He is just the leader to take us there because he is a triple threat principal, excelling in management, instructional leadership, and vision. It is rare to find a principal who can do all of these three things so well. And to top it off, he is also kind, caring, and thoughtful. He is simply the complete package. We are so blessed to have Mr. King as the principal of Hewitt Trussville High School. Thank you, Mr. King. Dr. Faust, would you be willing to come forward?
We're gonna go.
I did want to open it up. Board members, do you have anything to say about our 5 principals?
Don't speak well from the hip, but I just want y'all to know how much y'all are appreciated and the confidence that we can sit up here and have because of the kind of people that you are, the persons you are, and that comes across in everything you do. And so as a board, just as one of these board members, it just is a comfortable and knowing you have our schools in your hands. So we do appreciate y'all, and I hope you feel appreciated tonight and every other night. So thank y'all.
I'd like to say thank you for being our leaders at our schools, because like Dr. Martin read about one your faculty member said about you all, it's the truth. And I really do appreciate your leadership, and the parents, I really do appreciate it.
As a fellow educator and a former principal, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate what you do every day. I understand some of the things you go through. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, and I would just say, in addition to as a board member, as a parent also, I know 3 of you extremely well, having influenced my own children. So having 2 kids in the system, it truly a sincere thank you for that.
I agree. It's interesting to me to see how each of your personalities fit so well with the schools that you are into which you're serving. And I think it's just I personally think that the Lord has just placed you where you should be. And I'm just so thrilled to have you all in Trussville, and grateful for the leadership that you're giving our children.
Thank you. Our final recognition for this evening, if we could have our 2 state senators come up, and Representative Garrett, if you would please join us here as well. As our principals would tell you, it takes a complete team, and we are very fortunate here in Trussville to have 3 outstanding leaders on the state level in these 3 gentlemen. I wanted to make sure, because Mr. Kirkland and myself have been the recipients of the checks as they've come in, but I also think it's very important that the community of Trussville knows that $100,000 have been donated by these 3 gentlemen through their community grants. And that enables our principals to do some outstanding projects and have great initiatives at our building. So on behalf of Trussville City Schools, we would like to thank you. Thank you so much. Can we give our representatives a hand, please? Other members of the board, anything you'd like to add?
Just thank y'all. Y'all are so kind to our community as a whole, but especially I feel like Trussville City Schools has a place in all your hearts, and y'all are so generous and always looking out to help us with any improvements that we need to make around here. And so we're grateful and look forward to additional partnership to come.
Yeah, we're certainly glad Trussville has a special place in your heart. Thank you. But thank you for working so hard for us, because it makes a difference in the things that we can do here. So thank y'all.
Thank you for the partnership with Trussville City Schools, and we continue to move forward. I hope we have more partnership with you. We have a long way to go.
Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here this evening. We cannot thank you how much we thank you for what you do. We always feel good that you've got our backs at the state legislature. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, just to echo what others have said, just thank you for the partnership that you have with our school system. Much appreciated.
I just have a question. Did superintendent forget to read the letters from our constituents talking about how wonderful we are? Or did he just not could find one that would say anything positive about us? This is my first year without a child in the school system, but I still, Trussville is still where I live and love, and y'all do a great job. I'm going to tell you a little story about my fellow senator here. He lives in Mountain Brook, but over a year ago, we were redrawing the map, and they tried to kick him out of Trussville, but I fought hard to keep him in Trussville because I wanted him to at least have one good school system in his system. Thank you.
Senator Roberts, your rebuttal.
If I were going to rebut, Shay was my assigned mentor. I was elected in 2018. And if you come up 459, hit Highway 11, come down almost the entertainment district, cut through behind the entertainment district. Shay kept that for him. And then I go all the way down and pick up leads. I go down to Wilsonville and Trussville, up to Pelham, come back across, and I'm privileged to have part of Homewood, part of Mountain Brook, part of Vestavia in my district, and then I get to come back here. But it is a privilege to represent Trussville. I don't pull when I go to games from time to time, but if I come to the game here with either Vestavia or Mount Brook, and then we just thump Vestavia and Senator, Sheldon and I were just talking to Senator Wagner, who's Vestavia, and you didn't bring that up, I noticed in that conversation, but he was fully aware of that. So we have a great time with all the rivalries that we do. But one thing I would tell you is Danny Garrett and Shay Shelnut are two of the finest men in our legislature. And it makes sense they're from Trussville. But the character that they bring to the table when decisions are getting made is such a privilege to have Shay as my original mentor and then to work very closely with Danny. It's a great team that you have representing Trussville. I pull up the rear, but I'm certainly glad to be able to do that. But the character these men have is what speaks so loudly. And not everyone in Montgomery, to surprise you, has great character. I'll leave it at that. But these two guys exude character, and it's a privilege to serve you guys together with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can tell what kind of person Dan is. He's invaluable, and you would be worthy of living in Trussville. We would have you. I would say just a couple of comments. One, Tyler, congratulations on your participating in Boy State. He mentioned that he was just so impressed by the inner workings of Montgomery. That's because we were not down there, and you were not. What you saw was not us. The other thing I want to say is that I've been in the schools recently, just all the schools, and you get such a great vibe. We are so fortunate and trustful. The schools were all organized and orderly, and just wonderful. And that's a tribute to all the principals and your leadership shows, and we can certainly see that in the results that we see in the test scores and things. Also, I will say this, that of course I've watched Jared grow up, so I know I'm not surprised at all at where he's landed. And Aaron, I just know that on both sides of the aisle, my colleagues from Huntsville were just so complimentary about you and told us what a great asset you're going to be to our system. Going around the city and the state, you see Trussville Athletics and Trussville Band in the news constantly. We have a hospitality room, best one in the state that I've been to so far. But we have a great reputation. People know where Trussville is. They've heard of Trussville now. They know about us. I'll also say that I want to thank the city and the school system and the high school and the middle school for your cooperation in our new adult learning center. You know, we in the last budget allocated $7 million to build a new adult learning center in Trussville. And this will be training white collar type jobs for credentialing, for workforce development. And that project will probably not be constructed for, within a couple of years. But in the meantime, Jeff State said, if we could find space, we could go and start teaching classes. And so the high school and middle school have both offered and found that. Dr. Martin, thank you so much for your cooperation, because we're now beginning that process. This is going to be great for our community. And then finally, tonight, there's two of them, they're senators. That really means that you can get money from two people in the Senate. So that's a good thing. But the Senate, we call them the House of Lords. I represent the House, and we're in the House. We're kind of the House of Commons, But tonight, the House of Commons would like to present Trussville City School System with a check for $50,000. So, Dr. Martin. Y'all gonna join us and take the picture? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay.
Tyler, I'll just share with you and your family, if you're wanting to stay for the whole board meeting, that's fine, but now would be the appropriate time to slip out. So appreciate you being here this evening.
Thank you. All right. Next on our agenda is the financial report from Mr. Kirkland.
Well, you may have noticed there's not one in your packet. September 30th is the end of our fiscal year. So it takes me a little bit longer to get closed out, but I did want to kind of explain part of the process. During the budget hearings, I talked about all the state revenue sources that we receive and how our local fund basically funds anything that the state or federal sources do not. So at this time of year is where I'm balancing all of that. So in plussing and minus, from our local fund to close out all of those state revenue sources. So that's why it takes me a little bit longer. I do want to say in the budget hearings, I talked about a projected fund balance and pre-close. I'm not through yet, but things do look good. So I think we'll hit our mark and plus some that I'll come to you once we finalize everything. I'll bring that back to you. But anyway, it's a good report so far. And as soon as I get it finalized, I'll get y'all final numbers. If I can say one thing, Dr. Martin talked about Boy State and all the great people who went to Boy State. I went to Boy State and he's gone now, but if you've never attended or been a part of that, then it's a lot of hard work. With a short period of time there, it is a boot camp style event. They are up in the morning and when they go to bed at night, they are worn out. And it is a great event for anybody who gets to attend. I'm so proud of him. And so anyway, I just wanted to put my name in the list of people.
That is no surprise. Thank you. Okay, next is our consent agenda. Y'all see all the items that are listed on our consent agenda. Dr. Martin, is there anything we need to pull out and discuss?
A couple of items there, field trips, and if the members of the board recall, just changes in procedure in terms of coverage under the Educator Liability Trust Fund, which is why we're seeing so many field trips coming before the Board of Education. This really concludes the fall semester with sports and other activities, and we are now moving into winter as well as spring. If you'll turn over to page 4, item number 6. I do want to make mention of Coach Walker has been working very hard. Our video scoreboard at the stadium has been a big success. We have heard nothing but positives about that. Because of that positive synergy and energy, we have a community donor who would like to put a video scoreboard in at the Bryant Arena. And so that will be taking place over the course of this winter as well as the spring. We do have bid renewals, item number 8. Any renewal will bring to the Board of Education in consent agenda. Any new bid would go to the Board of Education in new business. So those are 2 bid renewals. And then under that, the final item under consent agenda, facility use agreements. So those are the items that I would highlight.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome that somebody wants to donate us a video scoreboard to the basketball arena. Maybe somebody will do that for another sport and we'll have video boards everywhere. It'll be great. Okay, any board, let's see, do I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
So moved.
A second?
I second it.
Any discussion about the consent agenda? All right, all in favor of adopting it, please say aye. Any opposed? All right. That has been carried. Let's see, next item is personnel, Dr. Martin.
Yes, members of the board have before them the personnel report for October. We do have 3 resignations and 1 retirement under the personnel report. Several recommendations for employment and agreements for services. 3 academic supplements before the Board of Education for recommendation. A few leaves of absence. Employee extra services agreements. We do have 1 Teams contract and 2 schedule changes, stipend, athletic supplement, a volunteer coach, and then 2 long-term substitutes. Those are the items before the Board of Education with the personnel report.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel report?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion on anything on the personnel report? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is new business, Dr. Martin.
Yes, the first item under new business this evening is the selection of a delegate by board members as well as an alternate for the AASB Delegate Assembly.
Well, here we go. When is it? December?
It's in December, yes.
Okay.
Last year, I think there was a little bit of confusion. Is this the thing on Thursday night before it starts on the
I'm sorry,
Friday?
it is, yes. November 6th.
November 6th.
I'm
It is
sorry.
November
Yes.
6th. No, I'm sorry, 6 p.m. on November
Oh,
30th. I'll get it right. in a second.
Thank you. Yeah.
6 p.m. November 30th at the Sheraton Hotel. Downtown, so that'd be downtown.
Mhm.
It looks like the annual business meeting will be held on Thursday, November 30th at 6 ahead of the annual convention, which is scheduled for the following 2 days, December 1st and 2nd. So, first, I guess I will call for volunteers. Would anyone like to volunteer to attend the delegate assembly on November 30th at 6 p.m.?
Are you as members actually does that?
Volunteer.
Well,
It appears.
you can, Mr. Daniel? Okay, well,
Event that night.
okay. Well, if Mr. Daniel is willing to serve as that, we will let Jason be our delegate. Would anyone like to serve as our alternate?
I'll do the alternate.
Okay, great. Thank you all.
Okay, and that will be. an action
Okay,
item.
so would anybody like to nominate Ms. Jason to be our delegate and Kathy to be our alternate?
I'd like to nominate Jason.
Okay. Anyone like to second that nomination? All right, any further discussion about the matter? Okay, great.
You are
I'm so
loved.
glad you are, Jason. Okay,
I like to nominate Kathy as our
as an
alternate.
alternate. Okay, and I will second that alternate, that nomination. You're welcome. Welcome. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, Dr. Martin, next new business.
Yes, congratulations on the selection of these very coveted positions.
What an honor.
All right, our next item, item number 2, this is actually coordination, a position to be provided to us via contract. The Department of Public Health as well as Department of Education coming together to provide us with a position. And I believe Dr. Poobie was going to speak more to that for us.
And we are excited to have this opportunity. Alabama State Department and Department of Public Health recognize the need to work collaboratively to support the growing mental health concerns in our school system. So they are offering us the opportunity to work with a full-time master's degree certified therapist. It would be ours 12 months of the year. They can do in-home therapy. They can do support in our schools, in-home during the summer. So it's a 12-month position. And we are going to be able to use them to support students in a variety of methods. So teachers can make recommendations, parents, counselors, but we have a variety of supports from them. And it will be a great opportunity for our Family Resource Center to grow and some additional supports for our students at no cost to us.
Yeah, that's wow.
The one change that I would make to this action item is that the contract, there was recommendation for some language change in that contract. So I would ask that the motion be made that we approve this agreement with revision. So that would allow us to make the changes to the contract as needed.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the motion as Dr. Martin just stated with the revision?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Sounds like it's a great program. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposition? Okay, so moved. Let's see, next is Dr. Martin's administrative report.
Yes, two administrative reports for us this evening. The first is one that we've had a lot of discussion around, but I would ask Dr. Poovey to please come back to the podium to talk with us about background check procedures for field trips.
We do and always keep our students safe, so we are making sure that we do that effectively on our long-term field trips and our overnight field trips, anything out of state. This is not a policy, it's a procedure that we will do background checks on the chaperones. We are working with Trussville Parks and Recs. If they've already been approved as a volunteer coach or in that capacity, we won't do another background check. That will be approved. But we do have the forms to work with Trussville Police Department to do background checks on anyone who has not already been approved. So we are working with our principals to make sure they get their chaperones well in advance and policies to make and procedures to make sure that we review those adequately. And if there's any additional concerns and support, we take care of that. So we're excited and appreciate the help of Trussville Police Department and Parks and Rec with us.
That's just on overnight field trips and
Out of state, that's right. And this is a procedural item, so does not necessitate board action under policy. We have a policy for field trips.
So how, or is it volunteer, the first to sign up, or you do it by drawing names? It's been so long since I've been in the school system. Yes, how's that? Okay. Okay.
And would they pay for the background check or we will? Okay. Okay.
Our second, I would ask for the assistance, Mr. Jackson, if you wouldn't mind. I'd like to introduce Dr. Bill Cleveland. Dr. Cleveland is a professor with Sanford and former superintendent of Homewood City Schools. So please, Dr. Cleveland.
Well, it's an honor to be here representing Sanford, but I must say it's always good to be back in a school board meeting. One so well run with, I give you a little bit of nothing for that. And before I get started, my heart does go out to you. One of these years, we're going to get smart and change our year from October 1 to September 30th to July 1 to June 30th, so that you're not drinking from a fire hose and these principals can get what they need a little sooner. But Dr. Martin, I put in front of your board members some more information about the Sanford University cohort program. The cohort program is set forth by Sanford University to work with local school districts who recognize that they have potential within their faculty and staff members. Potential in this case for instructional leadership within their schools. We think of it as a way to grow your own leaders, to plan for the future. Obviously, you have great leadership here, but one way to ensure that that continues is to make sure that you're growing your own. So this cohort model that several other school systems in the state have been using, and there's a few that are coming on with this cohort model, entail the Board of Education providing a third of the cost for the master's program, or it could be certification. And Sanford would scholarship a third, and then the employee pays a third. That makes this master's program the least expensive in the state. And we certainly, I'm representing Sanford, we think it's a pretty quality program in and of itself. I did mention, just to clarify for board members and anyone else, there's a difference between the master's level and the certification level. The easiest way to explain that is when I started teaching, one had to get a master's in their content or subject area in order to be recognized by the state and get paid for that. So I had to get a master's in history. I got my master's in history. It was asked to be an administrator, but I didn't have an administrative certification. So there will be some employees potentially that could fall into that category that might already have a master's in something, but not in leadership. So they would have to get an 18-hour certificate as opposed to going through the full master's. We do coordinate our master's program so that the first 6 classes that they take are those that they would need certification in. So I don't know if I've answered all your questions, Dr. Martin, or not.
If we can, Mr. Jackson, if you'd advance that slide there for
for our school system, you can see here the two things that we think this is really a value add for is just what Dr. Cleveland said. We can make high quality educators here for Trussville City Schools. And then secondly, it gives us a chance to grow our own in terms of administrative positions. And these are the courses that Dr. Cleveland was speaking to. So you can see up there, I think a total of 10 courses.
10 courses.
Okay. And then more, Mr. Jackson, if you don't mind.
Unless you're getting a certification, that's 6 courses.
We'll have Dr. Cleveland and his cohort, Jane Cobia, will be here November 14th, 4 o'clock for any of our staff members that are interested. And then that final slide. This was the mug shot. They took it.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't have a good side, so that'll work. That'll have to work.
So we'd ask Dr. Hamilton, who is one of our assistant principals there at Trussville High School, to please come forward. So Dr. Hamilton not only ran track, as well as got her undergrad from Sanford, but has also received her doctorate from there. And so just from a student perspective, what that experience was like. So if you wouldn't mind.
Well, perfect. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation, for me to come and speak briefly on my educational experience at Sanford. I was a student athlete. I ran track at Sanford, completed my undergrad there, but I also went through the 18-hour certificate course while I was enrolled in my doctoral program. So I received my EDS and my master's in my EDS from Liberty University, but for some reason, it was some reciprocity issues, but I was already enrolled in my doctoral program at Sanford, so I completed both at the same time. And as was stated, it was 6 courses, 18-hour course. It was really phenomenal. I just feel that it really provided a unique opportunity for us to work within our cohort. Same group of people, we were struggling together through the curriculum, but the 18-hour course, certificate course, and even the master's course, it was so much more than just submitting assignments through Canvas. It really was. All of the professors are very, very knowledgeable, especially my mentor, Jane Cobia. She also sat on my committee for my dissertation, but really pushed us to grow professionally. It also extended professional opportunities for us to meet other superintendents in the state of Alabama, and also for us to really take a deep dive into what's going on in our state, what's going on in the financial world in our state. And Dr. Cobia was able to bring that information to us within our cohort. Of the courses, you saw the courses that were printed on the screen. Of course, issues in school finance. These are just some of the courses that just really rang out to me and really supported me. Issues in school finance, leading diversity in school culture. I remember specific activities that we were able to do in that class that I feel like was able to turn around as an administrator. School improvement really looked at ACIP goals and determining a strategic plan, actually, creating action items for those topics, and then also legal and ethical issues. So those classes really gave us, again, deep dive into those topics, but also all of the professors really took the approach of, you know what, let's bring in the experts. We always had someone, whether it be a superintendent, someone from the State Department, sitting in our classes and not only extending those professional contacts for us, but also those experts to be able to answer those questions for us. So the program was fantastic. Again, I finished my doctorate there as well and loved it. Fantastic program. Thank you, Dr. Mayor.
And Dr. Hamilton said that she would be happy to sit with us on November 14th when
Yes.
Dr. Cleveland and Dr. Cobia come out to talk with prospective students. So
Sounds great.
we think this is a good program for the board to consider. Dr. Hamilton, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yes.
And Dr. Hamilton, welcome to Trussville. We haven't had the opportunity to have you in here, so thank you for coming to Trussville. We're not happy.
Can I have permission to take her on the road with me? Really be great. One other thing I wanted to mention to you, most systems, when they decide to do this formally, They have an agreement with the employee. When they choose to participate in this cohort, they also sign saying that they will agree to remain within the system for a number of years, whatever specified. That's typically 3 years. I'm looking at you, Mr. Colvin. I don't know if that's a legal issue or not, but it's typically 3 years. Is typically what most systems do. Now, when it's becoming very competitive for educators, that's a good way to kind of incentivize your employees, make sure they know. I mean, I'll be honest, if they don't know that the Trussville community supports them, they should by now, because I'm not even in Trussville and I know y'all support them. But this is just another way that they know that they're valuing, and it's a great model for the students to see. This is what a community does. It models, we support our folks. So I don't know, Dr. Martin, if there's anything else you or the board that has, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just our plan would be to follow back up with the Board of Education in the spring. We would look to, if we move forward with the program, look to have students in the cohort start in the summer.
So there, what I understood, because we've had this discussion, so there's a minimum of 10, you have to have a minimum to have a cohort from our school?
We
or-
prefer for a district to have 10 students to go through.
Okay,
There's a little bit of a plus or minus on that. We've had some that have been larger. We've had a few that have been in the 8, 9 range. We've got one, as a matter of fact, Vestavia right now, they have 10, but 2 of those are just getting the certificates. So after they finish those 6 courses, they will have 8. And that's fine.
yeah. Is there I mean, like a cutoff too, numbers, like if we have so many people interested in it, I mean. that
There's-
want to do it, or, I mean, I'm just don't know that.
Typically, there's not a cutoff, but
Okay.
typically it doesn't go much more than 12, especially for
Okay.
like systems of this size.
Okay.
You know, that would be that's about fair enough to say.
Okay. I think it sounds wonderful. I think it's a lot supporting our educators and pursuing their next degree, and then they're able to stay here, but, you know, and growing our own. So I love it. A similar program in nursing, you know, that they would educate you and pay the hustle, but you had to work, you worked there for a minimum, but it was a trade-off, and it's a good support for, you know, educators going through and getting the next level. So I think it's great. Thank you.
Thank y'all for entertaining it. Dr. Martin, appreciate everything you're doing. Hope y'all know he's like one of the best there is.
I think I told you before, my wallet's in the car. Thank you, Dr. Cleveland.
Okay. All right. I don't think we had anybody signed to speak tonight. So,
One point I want to thank Mr. King. He's busy right now. Just wanted to shout out to the high school for the invitational, the band invitational. I understand it was very successful, so pass that along. Good.
good. And Dr. Berry, thank you for your message this week to the parents. It was very good. Okay, we are going to enter into executive session at this time for the purpose of purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property that does not require legal certification from our school board attorney. But is there a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Ah,
Any opposed? All right, motion is carried. We're going to enter into executive session. We will not vote in executive session, and we will return from executive session only to adjourn our meeting. So thank you all for coming here tonight.